My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Moura. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 1. To start on that note, we start off at the corridors of justice, where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua lost a legal bid to stop the tabling of a motion to impeach him at the National Assembly. High Court Judge Bahati Mwamuye declined to issue interim orders sought by Gachagua's allies, led by former United Democratic Alliance Secretary General, that is Cleophas Malala. Malala had moved to court to file a petition to halt the tabling and subsequent debate of the said impeachment motion before the National Assembly on Tuesday, 1st October 2024. Malala had argued that the National Assembly and the Senate were unlawfully constituted and therefore lacked the mandate to debate the impeachment motion. However, Judge Mwamuye cited the matter as urgent and directed the petitioner to serve the chamber, that is the National Assembly, and the Senate and other interested parties the petition by close of business today. The respondents and interested parties are required to also file and serve their responses to the chamber's summons by close of business on the 3rd of October 2024. The petitioner will subsequently is expected to serve a rejoinder if need be by 4th of October 2024. Meanwhile, the matter shall be mentioned on the 7th of October 2024 for further directions and issuance of orders by the same court. And of course, that is our top story. We'll be bringing you those scenes from the corridors of justice, but we want to take you live to the corridors of the Augusta House, where we do understand ministry officials are currently before the National Assembly Health Committee members. Let's listen in to the proceedings there.
Thank you very much for the questions, Honorable Maingi and other honorable members. So I will hand over to the PS to answer the questions.
Thank you. Chair and honorable members, I know this issue of health is an emotional issue. Chair, when we came to you, we asked for the support. You gave us the support. You approved our bills and you are passed. Chair, as read from the submission of my Cabinet Secretary in terms of progress report, you have given me an update of where we are. Indeed, we are at that particular time, moment where we are now rolling out. We've said this system that is being developed is not going to be a perfect system from day one, but we will soldier on with the challenges we are facing, because as mentioned by Honorable Maingi, this system requires a lot of integration. For example, we are integrating with the National Registration Bureau, which is a data from a government agency mandated to collect the data of Kenyans, and we are saying our system should be able to read and reference to that. Chair, sometimes we could experience downtime, as mentioned by Mary, Honorable Mary. If NRB, for example, experiences downtime, we expect even us to experience a downtime because of the integration of the system. But we are working closely and collaboratively with the NRB system so that when they are facing downtime, they quickly move in and rectify the situation. You've talked about the private insurance based on your contribution. We are telling Kenyans, you still have the option to obtain or get your private insurance. What we are saying is, under the social health insurance, we're saying this is a national scheme, and therefore all of us are contributing to the national scheme. And you're saying we want a figure that everybody will, to be used for everybody. That 2.75% is what we'll use. So that amount will go to the social health insurance, but if you feel that you need to have another private cover, this act or this insurance law does not prevent you from going for it. How much we collect? The projections, our projections is about 148 billion Kenya shillings. Our projections, with expectations that Kenyans will faithfully pay what has been assessed of them and based on their income. We also project that we might have more yield, and as we get more yield, we will be able to give more benefits to Kenyans. Honorable member has asked, Kibageni asked, we are paying too much than we are getting from it. We said that we must have a base where we want to pay. We said we will not come below the national health insurance premiums that are currently being paid. Where we have assessed and we need to enhance, we have done that and it is there. Benefit package, we submitted the benefit package, you honorable members, and again you gave us approval. Honorable members, we are moving this journey. We are going to, all of us, we have dealt with you today. We are giving you a progress update of where we are. We expect still a lot of support from you in terms of telling Kenyans to contribute to the social health insurance, because we also realize that all of us belong to a community. All of us come from our society and we face challenges. The big thing that we identified, which you also said it is true, is that we are going into out-of-pocket expense which is going up. Harambes is what we want to kill. We might not kill today, but in the future we shall kill the Harambes. Now let me go to Honorable Martins. I know people, tomorrow most of them, as you said, they will be energized, they will wake up and say, let me go to the hospital. What we have done is we have had engagements with the Council of Governors, we've discussed with them, we've told them to stock, and particularly level 2, level 3, which there is a primary healthcare fund. And we are saying to access the primary healthcare fund, what a member needs to do is register. Once a member is registered,
beings as you live there, when is FIF becoming functional?
it is functional, Vice Chair.
It is not. It is not.
According to the report you got
Where I come from, it is not functional. Where I come from here is even the dispensary next to my home. The money they get even for deliveries goes to the county account. Even the women who are delivering there, the family have to carry food for them, because the maternity cannot even cook for those women because all money is going to county account. Food, if your relative delivers there, you have to take food to them. So until FIF is functional, and governors tell you the truth, until FIF is functional, we still have a big problem.
Vice Chair, it is functional in some counties, and some counties it is not.
All that is the Principal Secretary for Medical Services at the Ministry of Health, currently present before the National Assembly's Health Committee, answering to questions if the ministry is ready for the rollout of the Social Health Authority that is tomorrow. Now, the members have also raised concerns over the readiness of the means of testing, payment by those in the informal staff, among other issues that have been cropping up within that particular session. Our able reporter, that is Kamche Menz, is currently attending the session and will duly inform us in our subsequent bulletins. Now let's come back here to the studio and inform you on other news making headlines at this hour. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua lost a legal bid to stop the tabling of a motion to impeach him at the National Assembly. High Court Judge Bahati Mwamuye declined to issue interim orders sought by Gachagua's allies, led by former United Democratic Alliance Secretary General, that is Cleophas Malala. Malala had moved to court to file a petition to halt the tabling and subsequent debate of the said impeachment motion before the National Assembly on Tuesday, 1st of October 2024. Malala had urged the National Assembly and the Senate were unlawfully constituted and therefore lacked the mandate to debate the impeachment motion. However, Judge Mwamuye cited the matter as urgent and directed the petitioner to serve the Chamber, the National Assembly and the Senate and other interested parties the petition by close of business today. The respondents and interested parties are required to also file and serve their responses to the Chamber's summons by close of business on the 3rd of October 2024. The petitioner will subsequently be expected to serve a rejoinder, if need be, by 4th of October 2024. Meanwhile, the matter shall be mentioned on the 7th of October 2024 for further direction and issuance of orders on the same day. In regards to reactions of the impeachment, a section of victims of the 2007-2008 post-election violence from the Rift Valley region has urged those pushing for the ouster motion of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to reconsider their move. Led by the Kenya Internally Displaced Persons Association patron, that is Peter Tenor, they said the infighting witnessed amongst a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region needs to stop for development to take place across the country. Their sentiments comes amid allegations that an impeachment motion against Gachagua will be tabled in the National Assembly on Tuesday this week.
Naomba rais wetu ingilia kati na cabinet ministers wale walichaguliwa juzi washike serikali kikamilifu, watuendeleze katika development, si siasa hii, na mambo yote ya siasa za 2027 zikomeshwe.
And if we get any other developments in regards to the same, we'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. Let's go back to health matters. The Ministry of Health is set to kick off a 5-day supplementary polio vaccination campaign in response to polio outbreak after 5 cases of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 were detected at the Kakuma refugee camp and Kamkunji in Nairobi County. The campaign, which will kick off from the 2nd to the 6th of October, 3.8 million children under the age of 10 years. Speaking during a media engagement, a public health principal secretary, that is Mary Muthoni, said the campaign will be carried out in 9 high-risk counties of Nairobi, Kiambu, Busia, Bungoma, Turkana, West Pokot, Marsabit, Trans Nzoia and Machakos counties, urging all parents and caregivers to avail their children for the noble cause.
Following the confirmation of what is happening at Kakuma, the Ministry of Health has alerted all high-risk counties to remain vigilant. And it is important, with a particular focus on counties in Western Kenya. It is important to note that the upcoming supplementary immunization activity aims to reach a culminative total of 3,843,275 children. So we urge parents and caregivers to ensure their children are vaccinated during the polio campaign.
Elsewhere, a section of teachers now say that the move by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers to call off their strike has left them in need of emotional and mental support. The teachers claim they are finding it hard to teach since their demands have not been met by their employer TSC. Teachers from Machakos County held a teachers' night in Tala to bond and talk to each other as a way of relieving stress and encourage one another to continue teaching.
On that Sunday, when Akelo Misori, together with the other secretary generals from the counties, sat and told us that they are not going to call off the strike, we knew our grievances were going to be addressed. But the following day, we were very disappointed, we were very dejected, and Akelo Misori, against all odds, called off the strike without consulting the teacher, who was aggrieved, very angry, demotivated, and didn't want to go to the class.
Now, in other news, residents of Yamicha, Dadacha, Basa and Machalo villages in Cherab sub-county of Isiolo County have condemned the invasion of their grazing land by herders from a neighboring county, a move they said could spark a conflict over pasture and water. They are calling for the intervention of both the county and the national government to intervene in the situation. Now, residents are also proposing the establishment of a special police unit to enhance security within the region.
kwao. Kama itakuwa iko kitu ambaye lazima ikuje kwetu, wapitie viongozi, wapitie wasee ya area, ndio sasa tukuje pamoja.
Kuna hii issue ya insecurity na hiyo ni very sensitive. Wanasema kuna watu wamewatisha upande hii, na ni jukumu wa serikali kuchunga maisha na mali ya watu. Nadhani tukitoka hapa tutaenda kukaa na kina county commissioner na tuta escalate the same kwa kina governor.
Now, with a section of National Assembly members claiming that they will table an impeachment motion against the Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua, and has been the talk point of various gatherings that we have witnessed over the weekend, we want to tell you now the procedure of removing a sitting second-in-command from office. Now, some of the procedures are quite entailed within Article 150 of the Kenyan Constitution, but before that, the motion that the members of Parliament are alleging to have in possession with, and they will present before the August House, there are procedures as well guiding those to ensure that it is debated before the floor of the House. The Speaker, first of all, needs to be notified of the motion, has to go through the motion and ensure that it reaches the level that is supposed to be to reach an impeachment motion against a Deputy President. Then therein, the Speaker will take it to the floor of the House, where the members of Parliament will have a peek and, of course, debate on the impeachment motion. But this is what the Constitution clearly stipulates. If a sitting second-in-command is removed from office, needs to be followed. Article 150 of the Constitution clearly stipulates that the Deputy President must be removed from office on grounds that he is on physical or mental incapacity and the function of the office, or the impeachment on the grounds that he has violated the Constitution. I do hear that we have prepared a story in regards to that. Let's look at it and I'll tell you more about the grounds that can remove a sitting Deputy President.
President Rigathi Gachagua is a man under siege. Lawmakers are toying with the idea of hounding him out of office. Well, impeaching a deputy president in Kenya is a process guided by the Constitution of Kenya, primarily under Article 150. Let's walk through how it works. First, a member of the National Assembly must initiate the process by proposing a motion for impeachment. The grounds for this motion must be clearly stated and must fall under one of three categories: gross violation of the Constitution or any other law, the commission of a crime under national or international law, or gross misconduct. This is specified under Article 150, subsection 1A and B. Once the motion is presented, it must be supported by at least 1/3 of all members of the National Assembly. Given that there are 349 members in total, this means that at least 117 members must support the motion for it to proceed. If this threshold is met, the motion is then tabled for debate. After the debate, the National Assembly must vote on the resolution. Here, the Constitution requires a much higher threshold. At least 2/3 of all members of the National Assembly must approve the impeachment. In numbers, that means 233 members out of 349 must vote in favor of the motion for it to move forward to the Senate.
Honorable Senators, I wish to welcome you to this special sitting of the Senate.
Once it reaches the Senate, the process enters a different phase. Article 145, subsection 4, allows the Senate to form a special committee to investigate the allegations. This committee, if formed, conducts an inquiry and reports its findings back to the entire Senate.
This motion, Mr. Speaker.
Finally, the Senate debates the matter. For the Deputy President to be removed from office, at least 2/3 of all senators must support the impeachment. With 67 senators, this means that at least 45 must vote in favor of the charges. If the Senate votes to uphold the charges, then the Deputy President is removed from office immediately, as stipulated under Article 150, subsection 2. Thus, the process is quite rigorous, requiring high levels of parliamentary support at each stage to ensure that the decision to remove a deputy president is made thoughtfully and with significant backing.
Thank you, Edward Kabasa. That is the procedure of removing a sitting deputy president from office. And of course, we are waiting to see what will happen tomorrow at the corridors of the August House, given that a section of members of parliament have been alleging they're in a position of a motion which they have signed, and they will present it before the speaker tomorrow, and we'll see if it will reach to the floor of the House. All eyes will be on the August House. And in other news, expectant mothers in Watamu Hospital and its environs in Kilifi County are said to benefit from a 1.2 million shillings ultrasound machine donated by well-wishers. Doctors at the hospital welcomed it much needed reprieve, as expectant mothers will now be examined free of charge. Speaking during that particular event that was hosted in the hospitals, the doctors said that the machine will also aid them educate the mothers on how best to manage pregnancy and attend clinics for safe delivery.
Welcome to Watamu Hospital, to the Jacaranda Hotel. For a long time, we've not had any such machine in this area, so it's been very difficult to diagnose, especially when pregnant mothers come and maybe they have some complication. So now with this machine, it will make it very easy for expectant mothers to follow them up and see if there is any complication, so that we can manage them effectively.
The purpose of asking for an ultrasound machine is because the biggest mortality, the death of people, is still around childbirth. So anything that can be done in
Elsewhere, West Pokot County Government has been urged to consider mobilizing resources to assist marginalized communities living in the remote parts of the devolved unit. Speaking in Pokot Central Sub-County, the National Director of World Vision Kenya, Gilbert Kamanga, said the non-governmental organization has concluded a 16-year program in the region that saw communities become more self-reliant, having been equipped with various skills, citing education infrastructure development as key drivers to changing lives of residents in such arid areas.
By addressing the root causes of poverty, inequality, injustice, we create a future where every child is free from fear, harm, and exploitation. Our focus, as you well know, is on education, health, water and sanitation, economic development, and child protection programs that ensures children and their families can break the cycle of poverty and build resilient, self-sustaining communities.
Tunafanya bakery, tunafanya queen cake, buns cakes na mkate. Hiyo imetusaidia kubadilisha maisha, tunasaidia watoto yetu kulipa fees, chakula na vitu vingine mingi ya familia. Wakati wanapotoka, tungeomba sana county government pia watu support.
And on the political front, for the Kenya Grassroots Party elections in Trans Nzoia County to vote in the next party chairperson in the devolved unit turned chaotic after two groups differed on the modalities of the exercise. The newly elected chairperson of the Ford Kenya Party, Trans Nzoia County, Wafula Mutacho, was seriously injured in the scuffle at the venue of the elections in Kiminini when a rival team believed to be supporters of Ferdinand Wanyonyi, the deputy party chairperson, stormed the venue. Meanwhile, the national coordinator of the party, Chris Mandu, has maintained that the election was legal and followed the due process.
Ferdinand Wanyonyi tunamjua ni deputy party leader wetu, lakini kile kitendo ambacho amefanya sisi kama machairman kwa sababu branches kimestumiwa kabisa. Hawezi kuchukua uongozi kutoka juu mpaka chini kana kwamba hakuna watu wengine ambao wanaweza kuongoza chama. Chama sio ya mtu mmoja, chama ni cha watu. Na watu wao ndio wanachukua viongozi wa chama.
A section of a deaf community in Busia County has raised concerns over the challenges they face to access education and white-collar jobs, citing communication barriers and the lack of tertiary institutions where they can further their studies. Busia County National Council of Persons with Disabilities Director Metrin Wamalwa noted that the need for more Kenyans to learn Kenya Sign Language to bridge the language barrier challenge. Her sentiments were echoed by was reiterated by the psychologist, that is Samuel Kamau, who said discrimination has led to low self-esteem among people with disabilities.
This person may be having the right qualifications for the job. You can't offer them a job just because you don't understand their language, just because umekuwa adamant you can't make your office friendly or the environment friendly. Munafaa kukuwa mnajua sign language kwa sababu is one of the 4 languages in our constitution.
From 2018 up to now, I'm not yet employed by the government. We are learning well, but later we can't get the job. So please, the government, try and listen to the deaf, listen to the persons with disability and help us.
30 minutes past the hour. Don't go too far. On the other side of the break, we'll be focusing on the tourism sector. You do remember the tourism week was just last week. We have an expert with us here in studio. Don't go too far. That conversation will be up next.
Harambee Stars are set to face Cameroon in October before hosting the return leg in Kampala in mid-October. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1 as both teams chase slots for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed. We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
And thank you for staying with us. Now, pending bills amounting to 166 billion shillings have hindered the launch of new projects, especially in the transport and infrastructure sector. The Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and Economic Planning, John Buddy, expressed government's commitment to clear the backlog to unlock the projects.
Contracts are awarded, but there is no funding. As Cabinet
Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, my job is to help the President get money to do development, to complete the development projects which have stalled. When you move across the country, all road projects have stalled. I am going to make sure that I help the President get resources to restart all the roads across the country, to pay all the pending bills of 166 billion for roads and have the contractors back on road.
Researchers and innovators have boosted in terms of the Jomo Kenyatta JKUAT, been urged to collaborate in order to create a solution that speaks to the needs and challenges facing Kenyans. Innovators have been called upon to localize their solutions to address pressing societal challenges in the sector such as healthcare, agriculture and education. For you, but before that, as I told you earlier, before we took that short commercial break, we were going to focus on the tourism sector. You do remember the tourism week was held at the lakeside city that is in Kisumu, where stakeholders, including officials from the government, had attended to take stock of what the industry is facing through. You do remember the industry is still recuperating from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Joining us this afternoon is none other than Jacqueline Njau. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Memoir Tourism, an expert in the field. She will be telling us on how the sector is faring on, what are some of the unconventional ways that can be used to grow this sector. CEO, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us this afternoon. Maybe the first question, tell us, how is the sector faring on as we speak?
Let me say, the sector is doing perfectly well, though we have a lot of room for improvement. We are shifting from traditional ways of doing tourism to unconventional ways of tourism that our people have really not really caught up with. We see a lot of hotel developments that are struggling. Either because of management.
In a minute, we're trying to sort out your mic. We'll be back with you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Don't go too far. That conversation will still carry on. But first things first, let's take this story as we continue with that interview. Researchers and innovators have been urged to collaborate in order to create solutions that speaks to the need and challenges facing Kenyans. Innovators have been called upon to localize their solutions to address pressing societal challenges in the sector such as healthcare, agriculture and education.
While universities and research institutions have made strides in creating new technologies and products, many of them remain either unknown to the general public or disconnected from the practical needs of the population. Stakeholders now want researchers to collaborate to ensure that Kenyans are aware of the potential solutions being developed for faster adoption and implementation.
The knowledge level among the practitioners is not as always envisaged, it is lower. And we have other pieces of information here, very simple, which can help the farmers, the practitioners, and even the traders. So the take is we need to engage more. The challenge is how do we, media also needs to come on board and help us, and also the citizens need to engage us more and more.
Not many farmers can be able to kufanya hivyo. So mimi naweza wauliza kama universities wale waweze kubridge hiyo gap, waangalie farmers wanaweza afford nini. Affordability ya mfumo kama ule ndio unaweza kuwa unatutatiza.
Among innovations showcased at the trade fair include a creation by JKUAT lecturer Dr. Paul Kinoti, which uses snails to create products like cough syrup and shower gel with sunscreen.
We are intending to promote for use in addressing persistent coughs among small children, especially under 5 years of age. This is an improvement because the previous one we had focused more on the use of the slime from the snail and the honey. But now we are introducing a new component, which is actually the lime. And we feel that the product is likely to be more stronger. Apart from that, we are also working, or we have just released a new product. This product is called shower gel. It consists of the slime other ingredients, and most important, it has the sunscreen.
Through snail farming, we are coming up with the products, the value-added products, and we have trained several youths, and they have started farming the snail, and they are actually, for them, because of the energy they have, most of them are directing it to export markets.
Mark Nganga, an electrical engineer from Zetech University, has developed a face detection technology, a device he hopes could be adopted by institutions that require ID cards for access.
Impressed with the technology, since it's a technology that is helping improve on the access and the security of places. That's a positive feedback.
The innovators have called on the government to provide them with more platforms to showcase their innovations. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
And of course, we want to carry on with our interview. We are still focusing on the tourism sector. Given that the Tourism Week was hosted at the lakeside city of Kisumu, there are many issues that cropped up, and we want to know from the experts who are on the field how the industry is faring, what are some of the ways they can do to ensure that some of the challenges they are facing, they can overcome them. Once again, let me get to introduce my guest this afternoon. It is Jacqueline Zhao, the Chief Executive Officer of Memoir Hospitality. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us once again here.
Thank you for having me.
The question was, how is the sector faring on?
The sector is still trying to come up and to grow after the post-pandemic. And we have a lot of challenges because we are still very green when it comes to tourism. I mean, I know many people might be surprised when I say this, but as you have noticed, we have now new modern hotels coming up, and the competition is very high. One of the challenges we have when it comes to hotel development is that we do not have hotel architects in place. We use residential architects up till now. So we are very far behind when it comes to the workmanship and the workforce when it comes to hotel development and hotel interiors. So we also have a lot of challenges when it comes to human talent. Days back, Utali used to be a very good source of talent. Right now, if someone takes a student from Utali, they will have to again retrain them because of the trend in the shift in the trends of the industry, which our curriculum is not very updated. So again, you have the investor has to again invest on the talent. Then we have the political stability.
Apologies once more. Recalibrate your mic again. We take this story, then we'll come back to you. Apologies for that, Jacqueline. Now, vegetable vendors have been encouraged to set up traceability systems to increase food safety. Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition says there is need for farm-to-fork monitoring systems to increase consumption of healthy foods and open up international markets for Kenyan vegetables.
Kenya's vegetable consumption has remained stagnant over the past decade at 100 to 130 grams per person per day, below WHO's 400 grams recommendation. Nutritionists blame the low consumption, especially in urban areas, to poor food safety that has seen many shy away from consuming vegetables. Vegetable vendors have been encouraged to consider putting up traceability systems to ensure they source vegetables from accredited farmers. Increased food safety is touted to increase the country's vegetable consumption, creating additional market for farmers.
Human beings are supposed to be consuming 400 grams of fruits and vegetables every day, but where we are as a country is at about 130 grams per day. So we are below the recommended amounts of vegetables that we should be consuming daily per person.
Good food safety rankings will also create additional international market for Kenyan produce.
Vegetables are very important on health of human beings because of the micronutrients and those are vitamins and minerals that are in the vegetables and which have very important roles that they play in our health.
Unapata customer amesimamisha gari, anakuambia customer kwamba nifungie mboga na unichanganyishie wewe mwenyewe mboga za kienyeji niende nikule. Ninapomchanganyishia anapoenda kukula mwenyewe tena the next day anajirudisha tu mwenyewe. Nipe kama kawaida kama jana. Na ninaponiambia kawaida kama jana namwambia kwamba sitakupea kawaida kama jana. Wacha nikubadilishie tena variety ingine uende ukakule. Tena utakuja tena nikubadilishie tena. Sasa wanapenda kukuja kwa sababu na wachanganyishanga mboga.
Familia yangu nimewaelimisha kwa maana ya kukula matunda na mboga, lakini kuna change kubwa sana. Sasa hiyo anaendelea wakiimprove.
The Netherlands has started a 1.9 billion shillings vegetable for all program that seek to increase vegetable safety and consumption.
Food safety is very crucial for everyone, for everyone's health. And the project has a very important component of actually promoting the food safety measures in vegetable business and vegetables value chain as a whole.
According to WHO, poor vegetable consumption leads to an annual 3.9 million deaths globally. Benson Tuyoba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Rioba, for that report. Let's come back to our interview. We were still focusing on tourism and how the sector is faring on. And earlier on, Jacqueline, you were talking about some of the challenges you're facing, especially keeping up with the trends that are being witnessed within the sector. Aside from talking about modern hotels and the Airbnbs that are there, what are you doing to ensure that you acclimatize with the situation so that at the end of the day, the sector doesn't suffer?
We are trying to engage local investors more and teaching them, giving them workshops that will enhance their understanding when it comes to hotel architecture and development. And also the other challenges I think they are having is connecting with the proper investment. You see, the government does not offer tourism fund anymore. So, and hotel development are really expensive. So people have the land to do the developments, people have the willingness, but the government also lacks a lot to give support to these local investors. So because you go to KBC, they will ask you for an amount upfront, and these really investors do not have. So we see we are cutting job creation by lack of support from government. I'm not really fighting the government, but I'm just saying they can be more involved in making Kenya better and creating hotels with a lot of experiences, because now we've shifted a lot from traditional tourism to unconventional tourism. So we need to do hotels that are an experience within themselves. So what will make a tourist come to your hotel and stay for 1 week without getting bored? So these are the kind of things that you are teaching local investors. And also the leadership in tourism really have no knowledge about. So when we are marketing our country, we are doing very low kind of marketing and branding. So those are some of the challenges affecting the volume of the guests coming into Kenya.
If the fund then is no longer there, does it not warrant for you to collaborate? Because we've seen many companies within the tourism sector working in silos. Does that, given that these issues need to be tackled in a collaborative manner, does it not warrant for you guys to come together?
We do come together, and you also remember the banking system in Kenya is quite also very conventional. The interest rates are very high for the investors to take. So we are looking for ways where international investors can come in and help because the interest rates are also very low. And at least with the understanding of hotel consultancy, because you cannot do a hotel without the hotel consultant to lead you and to educate you on the trends that are, that are going on in the world globally. So if you lack the knowledge of the hotel trends, you'll be left wondering when the train took off.
Because you see, in the tourism sector, you majorly rely on foreigners who come into the country. What have you done locally to ensure even us can come to your hotels, to your various parks at an affordable fee?
Actually, we don't rely more on the foreign because you see, for a foreigner, they have to save for a long time to come to Kenya. But also the challenge is that our tourism products are very highly costed. And we want to work together with the government to make sure that the regulations really are looked into and the policies so that we can accommodate both the local and the international guests. Africans, we don't have a budget. When it's party time, it's party time. So for us to be able to continue creating more opportunities for the local domestic tourists, we need to come down with a proper package so that they feel that they can afford that. And also promote the inter-counties tourism. Like on a weekend, you can go to Nanyuki or Laikipia and experience the activities are there. You can go to Kisumu, you can go to, it's no longer more of the beach and the wildlife. We are really heavily reliant on the traditional tourism, which is not working for us anymore. Yes.
And of course, the reason why I was asking that, you saw how many Kenyans thronged to the parks and serene environments within our country. There are thousands because it was free.
Yeah.
So do we require to do that more so that at least key stakeholders such as yourself can go to those areas and sensitize the public on the importance of ensuring that we support companies that are within our nations and in essence support even some of the environments we have?
I kindly support the government to look into those budgets, parks fees, to maybe reduce them and create more activities. There's a lot that can be done. Look at the 14 falls. I mean, it's just an empty falls that can really have a lot of activities for the people to go. And you just charge a minimum fee and it will really enhance the tourism in that area. Again, it's also very good to study the area and differentiate the types of tourism that an area has to offer. Let's take, for example, Naivasha. How many types of tourism do you know that Naivasha has to offer? And I'm asking you a question. I need an answer from you.
Few and far between.
Like how? So we have tourism in Naivasha, we have sports tourism, we have adventure tourism, we have wildlife tourism, but you look at the community is not aware of this kind of tourism. So there's a way that the hotel developers can do a development and the architecture speaks to all these types of tourism so that you can be able to accommodate those 5 types of personas in your hotel. We also have event and conference in tourism in Naivasha. We need to do experimental types of buildings so that when people are engaging in these kind of meetings, they really don't feel bored. And even after the meetings are done, they still have a lot to showcase. Like, for example, themed walls, virtual walls. You can just look at a wall and see all the types of attractions that Kenya has to offer. So by the time you're done with the meeting, you already know what kind, where else that you want to go. Maybe it's the Mara, maybe it's Mombasa, you know. But we really have to diversify our portfolio when it comes to the types of tourisms that we are offering. Yes.
And flexibility, of course, is the key word there.
And flexibility.
Yes, is the key word there.
Yes.
But we're talking about what can be improved on, what is the dire need that is needed within the industry right now that can be improved on, at least to spur growth within the sector.
We need to look at the curriculum that is being taught in our colleges.
Yes.
We need to improve on our infrastructure. We need to do a more stronger marketing campaign to position Kenya globally. We need to train our people aligned with the trends that the globe has to offer. So those are the main challenges that we are looking at, and also the regulations with the tourism regulations authorities and all the stakeholders in the tourism industry. Yes.
And as we're coming to an end, is the sector offering jobs? Because that is the critical issues that we are currently facing as a country. Are there jobs? We have gone to school, studied in about tourism. When we leave school, are there jobs there?
There are jobs, multiple of jobs, because hospitality is very wide. We have clubs, we have restaurants, we have hotels, we have eco-lodges, we have theme parks, and all these things are being built every day. And tourism actually is the biggest employer in any country. So we have jobs. It's that maybe how we are aligned to get those jobs is maybe the crucial question to ask, but the jobs are there.
Maybe a final remarks, given that we have come to an end of this conversation.
Thank you for hosting me, and I am requesting the government to collaborate with private investors so that we can take tourism to a higher note. Yes.
Thank you so much. That is Jacqueline Jau, the Chief Executive Officer of Memo Hospitality, just joining us to inform us on how the sector is faring on. They have heard the information, given that they are the stakeholders on the ground. And of course, their plea there is to ensure even the tourism fund that was there can be reinstated so that it can cushion them. They're still recovering from the adverse effects of the pandemic. That concludes our interview and 2 stories that we have prepared for you in the world of sports. Now, Sati Gata's Aura's 1977 Nissan 160J emerged the winner of the 52nd Africa Concours held at the Nairobi Racecourse. Now, Sati achieved the feat with a cumulative total of 269 points to recapture the title he had won in 1988. His 1947 MGTG took the second position with a total of 264 points. The 1937 MGTA of Parashah completed the podium with a cumulative total of 256 points. On his way to the summit, Sati managed 38 points on the car's underside, 72 on external finish, 58 on interior boot, 55 on engine, and 6 on the roadworthiness. Now, Oduno's 1989 Yamaha Super Tenere won the motorcycle overall category, scoring a total of 142 points. The car category was the center of attraction this year, with 15 classes at stake. Now, newly promoted 3K FC claimed a 1-0 victory over Migori's Luanda's Villa in the National Super League match played at the Embu Stadium. 3K FC netted the winning goal in the 65th minute through a penalty converted by striker Michael Masharia. Despite missing a few key players, 3K FC's coach Francis Chege expressed satisfaction with his team's performance, praising their preparation and resilience. Luanda's Villa's head coach Gilbert Selebwa said his charges created several chances but failed to convert them into goals. The victory gives 3K FC momentum as they continue their NSL journey, with their next match against Fortune Sacco in Kirinyaga set to test their consistencies in the league.
Game imekuwa game ngumu sana against Luanda Villa side, wamekuwa very organized. First half kidogo tulikuwa hatucheze vile tulikuwa tumeweza kujitayarisha, lakini second half tuliweza kuchange vitu kidogo tactically na ikaweza kuwork, kuweza kupata reward ya bao ambayo tumeweza kupata.
And now, with immense pleasure, Manchester United extended their poor run after a humiliating 3-0 loss to Tottenham Hotspurs in an English Premier League match at Old Trafford. Spurs, who missed their hitman Son Heung-min through injury, dominated the game with masterclass performances in both halves. And of course, following those results, United is currently 12th on the log with a -3 on goal difference, with a point of 7, given that they have played only 6 matches, including the rest of us. The mighty Gunners, of course, are still on the 3rd position. Manchester City on the 2nd, and Liverpool is topping the league. And of course, the league continues this weekend. The Manchester United is expected to face Villa. That is at Villa Park, Aston Villa, and we'll duly have those stories for you. For now, we wish all the Manchester United the best. That concludes our bulletin this afternoon. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Moura. Good afternoon for now.
Harambee Stars are set to face Cameroon in October before